Hello, look at this. This is hearty pulled pork stew. It's chock-a-block full of pulled pork or barbecued pork, whichever you can get, which I've just got some barbecued pork shredded with some forks. There's leeks in here, there's corn, there's chickpeas, there's okra, there's all kinds of goodness in here, tomatoes, and it cooks down and it's just absolutely delicious, hearty stew. That will get rid of winter. I don't care what the groundhog said. All right, go make some of this delicious stew. Let's go in the kitchen and make it right now. All right, here's all the delicious ingredients in our stew. Now, first of all, what we've got across the front here. Well, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of pepper. Now, if your pork is salty, you won't need that much salt. You might want to cut back on the salt. This pork is not salty, so I'm going to put a teaspoon of salt in there. 3 bay leaves, 1 tablespoon of Dijon mustard. That's not the Dijonnaise, that's the Dijon mustard, a bit stronger. 1 tablespoon of sriracha sauce. That is the chili sauce that comes from Thailand, but this is available all over the world. Anytime you find it in a Asian food section. I get it here in Japan and a couple of our import stores. It's quite popular stuff, so easy to find. Sriracha sauce, 2 tablespoons of butter, 1/2 a tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce. I know I'm saying it wrong, okay? The brown sauce, Leon Perrin's Worcestershire sauce, Worcester sauce, something like that. Somebody told me I never get it right. 2 tablespoons of flour. Over here, across this thing, we've got the okra. Now that is about 13 to 15 pieces of okra, ends cut off and then chopped, well, about 3/4 of an inch, actually somewhere a little bit longer, about 20-25 millimeters, roughly around there. 1 onion chopped, 1 15-ounce can of tomatoes. And if the tomatoes are whole tomatoes, you'll want to crush them up a bit when we put them in here. But either way, just any kind, crushed, chopped, whatever, whole tomatoes, any will do. Over here, I've got 1 large leek. That leek was about this long. And that's been cut into 1-inch pieces or about 25 millimeters. And I use all parts of the leek, the green and the white. Then across the back here, I've got 1 15-ounce can of corn and 1 15-ounce can of chickpeas or garbanzo beans, whichever one you call them. And each of these has, of course, been rinsed and drained. Then here, the pulled pork. All right, yeah, I live in Japan. I can't really get pulled pork. This is barbecued pork, but I've shredded it up with a pair of forks. So if you can get pulled pork, if you can't, just get some barbecued pork, shred it up yourself. Yeah, it is a bit more of the labor-intensive part of making the stew. And that is 1.5 pounds or 680 grams of pork. And then here I've got 1 cup of water. So first thing to do, we got our big cast iron pot. Got to put that butter in there. Gonna turn that up to medium heat. And then I want to get that butter melted. All right, once that butter is melted, we're gonna add in the onion. I want to cook the onion, stirring occasionally, about 5 minutes, just to soften it up, get a little bit translucent, and then we'll be back and add the flour. All right, see you in about 5 minutes. It's been 5 minutes, the onions are softened up a bit, good. Now I'm going to do is going to add the flour, sprinkle that on top, and then just stirring quite frequently for the next minute and a half. I just want to cook the flour a little bit, just kind of get the rawness off it. This flour is going to help thicken up our stew along with the okra. All right, that's just been a little over a minute. What I want to do now is just add in a little bit of the water just to deglaze anything that's brown onto the bottom. So that sizzle, yeah, that's just getting everything off the bottom, any good brown bits. Put a bit more in there. All right, now we can start adding just everything. So we're going to put in the green the leeks, not green onions, those are very big green onions. I'm going to put in the okra, the meat. This is just barely going to fit. You really need a bigger pot than this, but this is the biggest I've got. This is going to be a hearty stew, isn't it? All right. Move that around a bit. And somehow fit all these in there. This is really pushing it to the limit this time, isn't it? We've had a couple that have been right to the brim. There's a lot of ingredients in this stew. All right. Oh, get back in there. Now what I want to do, get tomatoes in there. All right, go down into the center. And then we've got the chili sauces. We're going to put that right into the tomato. All right, same goes for the Worcester sauce. And the mustard. Woo-hoo. Pepper. Salt. And now the water, the rest of the water goes in here, and it's going to work its way down through here. All right, now what you want to do is just very carefully start mixing this into there. Hopefully you've got a bigger pot than I have. I used to have a much bigger one when I lived in Canada, but over here, this is it. Unless you go and buy a really big industrial style one, which I've been tempted to do. All right, so what's going to happen now is this is going to cook down a little bit, and then I can keep pushing it down. I want to get the bay leaves in here, so I'm just going to kind of stuff them down the side somewhere so they can get in where the liquids are. The liquids are down below here. So if we can get the bay leaves in here, they'll just kind of add their flavor into the liquids, and we'll have to hunt them down later. Okay, so this is going to cook now. I'm going to turn this down towards a medium-low, and I want to simmer this away, and I'm going to keep mixing that down in there for the next 45 minutes, and then we're going to have some really nice stew. See you then. All right, that's been simmering away, covered for about 45 minutes. All I've done is every once in a while, get in there, dig down deep, bring everything from the bottom up. First I had to do it, of course, really carefully, but now you see it's all cooked down. All the vegetables are cooked down, so we've got this lovely, rich stew here. Oh, that is really fantastic. So what we're going to do now is, I say, try to hunt out some of those bay leaves. There's one. All right, so we've got one bay leaf done. Don't know if we'll find all three or not. They have a way of hiding. Okay, well, they'll show up. What I want to do now is grab a bowl and serve some of this delicious stuff. So let's turn the heat up, turn the heat off, and just dig in here. Look at that. That is one hearty stew. Great. Winter, if it's still winter where you are, still a bit here, well, that definitely beats winter. Let's have some. Hot. Good. Oh yeah. Now if you like this recipe, stick around. Look around the channel. There's a lot more. These are all original Kevin Riley Kuma's Kitchen recipes. And make sure to subscribe because there's more coming out every Monday. Now, if you're not yet a patron of Kuma's Kitchen, well, consider becoming one because for as little as $3, you're helping to support the creation of more and more of these tasty recipe videos. Also, you get access to all the cool stuff that the patrons have access to right now. All right, so go make this delicious stew and make cooking fun again with Kuma's Kitchen.